Moore.
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Shaner. Scott.
Aye.
And Waters.
Aye.
I move we adjourn the closed session.
Second.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Shaner. Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye. Call the roll, please.
O'Kane.
Here.
Shaner. Here. Scott.
Here.
Waters.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
We stand for a moment of prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll go to the consent agenda, which is 2 through 14F. Consider these items passed unanimously unless a separate roll call vote's asked for by a council member. If you want to speak on an agenda item, please come up as I read that number. If you want to speak on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. Always remember to state your name and address for the record. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
2 is a reading of the June 24 City Council minutes. 3 is a resolution adopting the 2024 second quarter supplement to the municipal code. 4 is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the undersized water main replacement project. 5 is a resolution approving the renewal option number 2 with Brentag Great Lakes for caustic solution. 6 is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 607 Castleman Street. Petitioners Joe and Sandra Swick. 7 are appointments to boards and commissions. A is a motion appointing Ralph Swain to the Historic Preservation Commission. B is a motion appointing Gary Lewis to the Human Rights Commission. 8 are actions relating to street closures. A is a resolution temporarily closing various downtown streets for the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Battery Park Concert Series.
I'm going to abstain on that one, conflict of interest.
Okay. B is a resolution temporarily closing various downtown streets for the Rivergate Parade and staging. 9 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with McClure Engineering for the Nebraska Street Water Main Replacement Project. B is a resolution approving a contract to Concrete Plus for the Plywood Trail Phase 3 project. C is a resolution approving a contract to Mark Albanesius for the South Westcott Street Water Main Replacement Project. D is a resolution awarding a service provider agreement to Cleary Building for the Lewis and Clark Baseball Stadium Storage Facility Project. E is a resolution approving a development agreement with IBL for the development of the property at 2809 Floyd Boulevard. Marty Dan doesn't remember this being on the agenda. I'm telling you, I know I must be getting old, but I just don't remember talking about that, and that's why I've got a problem that we do these.
It does go back a ways, Mayor. So the agreement would essentially address the stormwater issue in the area and make the proposed stormwater improvements on Mr. Ivaner's property a little larger to accommodate the area adjacent to it. I mean, that
About when was that, Marty? When we first
started talking about it?
just roughly?
And we
6
had
months
it
ago
on
or
an
so.
ED meeting.
I thought we did, Mayor, but I believe we discussed it at some point with you, but I can't tell you the exact date. But
Well, I'm just going to say from now on, if it's not been on an ED meeting, then don't bring it here. Because why do we have ED meetings if it isn't? Anyway. F is a resolution approving a master service agreement with DSI Medical Services for a drug and alcohol testing program. G is a resolution approving a service agreement with Avera McKinnon for an employee assistance program. And we don't have anybody in the city that can do this anymore? I love Sioux Falls, but I don't love sending them money.
Jill Bertrand, Human Resources Director. We currently use a program, Mercy One is our current provider, and they contracted out with another company that's based in Pennsylvania. And just based on past experience with them, we'd like to try someone different. And they also provided a first responder piece, which we were looking for.
So the answer is no, there's no one local that.
They were invited to participate, but the committee selected Avera.
Okay.
You had 7 bids that you received,
Right.
went through those.
Okay, that's.
I still would like to vote. I just can't vote for Sioux Falls Hospital when we've got hospitals in town here. Sorry.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
No.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
10 are actions relating to personnel. A is a resolution suspending the Iowa code requirements for hiring of employees for the wastewater treatment plant and environmental services department. B is a resolution accepting work comp coverage from the Iowa Municipalities Workmen's Compensation Association. 11 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution authorizing payment to KNS Contracting for the Rivers Landing Parking Facility Elevators Upgrade Project Phase 2. B is a resolution authorizing payment to Knife River Midwest for the Air Terminal Apron Pavement Repair and North GA Apron Taxiway Replacement Lights Project. C is a resolution authorizing payment to Barclay Asphalt for the Airport Northeast Taxi Lane Reconstruction Project. Mr. Collette has an amendment that he needs.
I would like to update the final pay amount. The final pay application was in error, how it was submitted on the agenda. I believe clerk has the final amount. Should be $52,596.74.
I'll move the amendment.
Second.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
12 are applications for beer, or for cigarette, tobacco, nicotine vapor permits. 13 are applications for beer and liquor license. 14 are boards, commission, and committee minutes. Anyone to be heard on any of those items? Are you calling the roll?
Yes. Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye. Appointments to boards and commissions and committees. 15's a motion appointing 2 of the following 3 applicants to the Airport Board of Trustees. Paul Baker, Faith Bradham, reappointment. Skip Purley, reappointment. What's your wishes?
You know, Mayor, it's difficult sometimes because if the reappointments are for a second term and they have faithfully, served their obligations on the board, I mean, I'm in favor of reappointing them, but with the same token, I don't want the new applicants to be discouraged or just give up. But this go-around, we've had great people apply and interview, so that would be my thought.
This was especially difficult, too, because
Reappoint.
Mr. Baker had some amazing ideas about things that they could do and ways that they could kind of curb the board a little bit. But I've heard a lot of people serving on committees that say, that first go-around is really learning the ropes, learning how to function successfully as a committee. And you got to commend them for going through that whole process and still saying, I want to serve. So I would agree.
I'll move that we appoint Faith, is it pronounced Bradham? Bradham and Skip Purley.
Second?
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
16 is motion appointing 3 of the following 4 applicants to the Events, Facilities, and Tourism Advisory Board to serve in vacant positions required to be filled by the Sioux City residents. Julie Nixon, reappointment. David Gross, Sidney McManamy Herman, reappointment. And Bruce Miller, reappointment. If Bruce is chosen, you'll have to waive the rules for more than 2 consecutive terms. I'll move, I'll move Julie, Dave, and Sydney. I appreciate Bruce, but it might be time that he take a turn off so others can join. So I'll move those 3.
I'll second.
Well, and Mayor, you're correct. I mean, again, we have 4 really good applicants, and David Gross will add a lot to that advisory board, in my opinion.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
No.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
17 are recommendations of planning zoning. 17 is a hearing and resolution determining an area to be of the city to be blighted area and designated such area as appropriate for urban renewal project and adopting amendment number 1 to the Donner Park Urban Renewal Project area. P&Z recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
Hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
18 is an ordinance amending Chapter 3.14 entitled Amended Donner Park Urban Renewal Tax Increment District. I'll move first reading.
Second.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
Anybody opposed to waiving statutory rule?
No.
No.
I'll move it.
Second.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye. I'll move second and third.
Second.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner, Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
19 is a hearing and resolution approving the proposal to sell property adjacent to 424 Castleman Street and authorizing a city deed. The petitioner Sissel Properties. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
20 is a hearing and a resolution approving the annual action plan for the City of Sioux City Consortium. I'll move that, I'm sorry.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
21 is an ordinance amending Chapter 2.66 entitled the Uniform Board of Provisions for Boards, Commissions, and Committees. I'll move it.
Second. What triggered this?
The legislature amended Chapter 21.8 of the Iowa Code.
That's effective today.
It's effective today. The city did allow in its ordinances that board and commission members could appear on a limited basis virtually. Now, the code has indicated that there can't be a restriction on the amount of times individuals can appear that way. So it's open-ended now, and the city will have to provide an electronic means for board members to participate if they choose to do so virtually.
Okay, thank you.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
Anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
Move that.
Second.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye. I'll move second and third.
Second.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
22 is a resolution awarding a grant and approving an agreement with the warming shelter deferred from June 24, 2024.
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Here's what's going on with me on this one. I think, first of all, it's the right thing to do for the people that the warming shelter serves. And then secondly, we have quite a huge investment in our downtown area. And yes, this might be short-term, but I think we need to take a serious look at a plan that going forward, what do we really want in this community? What do we need to strive for? How can we do things? I think we do things pretty good with the programs we have, but how can we do better? And if I read the homework correctly, they have commitments of $150,000. And a lot of that, I understand, was caused by or triggered by the $50,000 that they're asking the city to give. So I just don't want to pass it up. I want to support it. And so that's why I made the motion, and I'm going to vote yes on it.
Anyone to be heard?
O'Kane?
No?
Oh, sorry.
Somebody here.
I'm so sorry.
Joe Twidwell, Dakota Dunes, South Dakota, and I'm on the board of the warming shelter.
Afternoon.
Just to let you know that we have raised and pledges to get us through to the wintertime of $202,000, excluding if we get anything from the city. During this summertime, we've been housing, on the average, 14 children and their parents, and then we've had upwards of 20 people that have had mobility issues, either walkers, wheelchairs, and we have 7 individuals who we've modified our rules for the summer where we breathalyze the people as they come in, and we have 7 individuals who are working and who are trying to get into permanent housing. And so by being able to stay open during the summer, we're able to stabilize our staff, keep good staff. One of the challenges is if we shut down in the summertime, it's very difficult to get people who are experienced and possess the skills we need for the shelter throughout the year. And so we would really appreciate your support, and we would use the money wisely to help these people. If anybody had any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Well, I know, not to put you or Alex on the spot, but I know Alex had some questions or concerns at the last meeting. Alex, I'm not sure if you heard from Shayla, if she was able to respond to your email, or if you had any questions for Joe specifically.
No, I had a long conversation with individuals and got the answers I needed. Thank you, though.
Thank you.
I will
Thank you.
abstain on this as I am a board member.
Seconded the motion, so
Oh,
withdrawing your.
I will have to withdraw my second.
Second that?
Thank you, Joe, for your efforts, too, over the years. Appreciated.
Anyone else be heard? Call the roll.
O'Kane?
Abstain, conflict of interest.
Shaner?
Aye.
Scott?
No.
Waters?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Okay, citizen concerns. Any citizen want to be heard, please come to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
My name is Susan Barta, 1117 River Drive, Sioux City, Iowa, 51109. Honorable Mayor and City Council, first I'd like to thank the Mayor Pro Tem for taking my call last Monday and returning my call back. I'm a flood victim out in Riverside. I'm here to share concerns. The city had no empathy on what we were going through out in Riverside. No concerns, no regard, no nothing, no warnings. The sirens didn't even go off. Most towns and cities around us held city forums, town meetings. No word from you guys. Where were our city leaders when we were in time of need? I'm flooded out. I got 3 lots along the Big Sioux in my backyard. I'm flooded out. And I had a sewer leak prior to the flooding. On Sunday, Mid-American turned off my gas, so they were well aware of what was going on. Yet no sirens, no nothing. My neighbors weren't even offered sandbags, sand, or anything. I've been in two floods out there, 2011, 2019. This is the first time I've been displaced for 8 days. In between 2011 and 2019, I had a sewer leakage. Yes, you came out and took care of that. It was the city's responsibility. They redid one of my rooms in the basement because it was flooded because of the sewer. But I had sewer leakage prior to this flooding my basement. We're in a 500-year floodplain, my neighbors and I. This has been a hardship. The people that are going to speak behind me have it worse than I do. My house is standing. I have trees that were in water that I'm afraid are going to fall on my house right now. There's a lot of concerns. The one time during the flood, they came down with blowhorns and warned us all. We didn't get that. What I would like the city to do is help us out in Riverside. One way they can help us is we have a lot of standing water out in Riverside. Is there any possible way you can come and spray for bugs and mosquitoes? We have tons of beautiful volunteers out there that are working day in and day out in extreme adversity and no help from our city leaders. I'm here to, I commend you all for being up there. I know what it's like to put yourself out there as a public servant. I commend you all. But the response, no response. I'm very disappointed. I've been a citizen of Sioux City all my life. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to turn it over to this man behind me who happened to save a lot of lives that day, and due to no sirens. And one more thing, that story in the paper where the lady almost drowned out in Riverside, where my neighbors used a rope and a hose and a human chain to rescue her. Those are my heroes, are my neighbors. You got some good people out there, folks. Pay attention to us, please. I felt like Hurricane Katrina when this all happened. It reminded me of Hurricane Katrina. No response whatsoever. You know? Let's buckle down. We need help. There's a lot of things we need. I'm going to turn it over to my other hero here. Okay? He knocked on doors and got people off River Drive when there was no sirens or no help to be heard. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Mayor, council members, my name is Steve Corrali. I live at 1900 Fairbanks Street, and that's at 51109 is the zip code there. Now, you know, what I did was it had nothing to do with heroism or anything like that. I just got lucky. I happened to be awake when that river started coming in. I did anything, anybody that would have been capable to do the same thing I did would have done the same. I do agree with Susan about the sirens would have done wonders for everybody there. I don't know if who's in charge of that, but that really could have used some improvement. And I'm not here to, by no means to criticize anybody. I think the city, they came a long way through that flood. I mean, they were working diligently trying to build the temporary levees and manning the pumps and all of that. But, some concerns, some of these neighbors, they don't speak very good English. And so I'm kind of sharing some of their concerns as well. And I think some of these are great ideas, but is there any kind of tax relief on the property taxes that, that we could work on trying to get done, I know that these are taxes for a year ago, but right now we're all out. Most of us has lost everything we've ever worked for in that flood. And everybody's having to seek, the funds aren't there for a lot of the folks, One of my other neighbors mentioned the fact that, if we could have a relief on the water bills and stuff, because most of the water is being used right now for cleanup, One other thing, why didn't the levee get completed? We're down there where we were supposed to be safe from the floods, protected by a levee, but it came in from the other end of Riverside. And that I think everybody would like to hear an answer out of that one. So I'm going to have to turn this over, but thank you all.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
I live at 1500 South River Drive.
Name,
The dike
please.
is right behind me.
Name,
And
please.
like them before, thank you all for your service. I know it's hard to do what you do.
Ma'am, could you state your name for the
Yeah, get your name, please.
Oh, I'm Bonnie Whitlock.
Thank you, Bonnie.
I've lost 2 cars. I've lost my baby's pictures and everything. If I would have had some warning, I could have gotten that stuff up. I've lost everything in my home. All my drywall is gone. All my flooring is gone. My furniture, my appliances, everything is gone. My husband and I are just retired. And guess where my retirement money is going to go? Into my home. I'm not going to be able to live off of my retirement money because it's going to go back into my home. And we have a lot of Asians in our community that need somebody that can come and talk to them because a lot of them do not speak English. I tried to warn as many of the people as I could too. And so that is my concern also. And I don't know if the floodgates were open or not. I heard they weren't. And why not if they weren't? So that's my concerns. And I thank you all for listening and
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Mary Hughes, and I live at 1330 River Drive South. And if it wasn't for Steve, I'd been dead, because he knocked on the door, and there was at least 4 foot of water. We drove out of there in with nothing on but the clothes on our back. And my house is definitely nothing to it left. I've lost all my life, stuff that I've ever had in my life. I have nothing. And I don't know how. I'm a single widowed woman, and I don't know how I'm going to get by. And I was told I couldn't have flood insurance because there was 2 pumps to take care of that dike when they built it. And they didn't even work. They were out there all day Sunday and didn't do a thing. There was just hoses left in the trailer and sat there. If it wasn't for my brother, I'd have never known that either. He come over and went up there.
Thank you.
Steve wants to add something. I got a lot of my reporting from Encino, California. A friend of mine gave me weather updates. We don't even have very much local news here, so that's another sad thing.
Anyone else?
My name is Nicole Richards. I live at 1812 Florence Avenue, and I have a concern about the mapping on your city official website. It shows us as in that we are protected by the levee, and I want to know how we were protected by the levee. We've been gutting my house for 3 days now. We have completely lost everything. I'm confused on that. We can't get flood insurance because your city map says we're protected, and we're clearly not protected. So I want to know how you're going to fix this for us. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I had a few things I wanted to mention earlier that, this weekend in the cleanup process, the whole neighborhood, you could hardly drive up and down the streets to get in or out. Gill Hauling put dumpsters out there. They were full on Saturday. They stopped hauling, they stopped dumping at noon Saturday. and we didn't see anybody. The city responded real good this morning, but probably about, I would guess probably about 60% of all of the debris has been picked up already. Some of us still have some, you know. I did, the best I could do is I had a dump truck there on my property that was under 5 foot of water, and one of my men actually got it going enough for us to haul the garbage over to the park there in Riverside. And but I think in the future, maybe the city or Gill Hauling or somebody should be more open to such a disaster that went on. And like myself, if we have a big problem, major problem in my business going on, we've got to react no matter what day of the week it is, you know. And we just didn't feel like we had that kind of support really well. In the future, though, moving forward, I think that the city could probably improve on that. I'm not blaming anybody here, but if there's something we could do, you know, to get the word through to those departments that are responsible. The flood control part, they were on the ball, you know, all day. They worked all weekend diligently, but I think we could have had a little bit more help with that. We were full of volunteers, everybody coming in to get rid of the debris and know where to go with it. So
We had put out, Steve, to go ahead and put it in the park, and we were coming,
yeah,
and we're going to continue to work in the neighborhoods, but.
Okay, and then if we could also, FEMA, of course, they haven't come through. We kind of all got this feeling that they're, you know, it's not a big enough disaster in Woodbury County. That's what we're being told. That's kind of, I'm not sure how true that
They're
is.
present in Sioux City.
If you guys could help us get that support from
No,
them.
they've got people in town, they've already been out in the neighborhood, and I got an email today, they're looking for.
I can't apply yet until they do that.
Just let me finish, okay? That they have sent me an email today, they're looking for an office for 50 to 60 people and parking for 50 to 60 people, so they will be coming.
Okay, thank you, Bob, that and all of you, because that's what we're here is to try to get some answers, you know. So I thank you all both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Claudia Flores, 1911 Fairbanks Street in Riverside. My house was just tagged, red tag. Nobody can get in. There were a few things that I was able to salvage. I have an autistic child, and I'm widow. And I lost everything. I'm homeless. My son is asking for his house back. I cannot explain to him that we lost everything. It doesn't seem to be that this is going to be resolved right away. Please, we need help. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Deanna Mercury. I live at 1410 River Drive South. And I also lost everything. And I don't even have a floor. They're out there now cutting off everything out of my house. Now, my adjuster from my insurance hasn't got out there yet, but because it's so wet, it was scary for us to try to get everything out of there because we thought one of us was going to fall down through the floor. And I lost one of my dog's ashes in that, and it was so heartbreaking. I lost my wife 3 years ago, and I lost all our wedding pictures and everything. I have nothing right now. I have my dog boarded, and I'm staying in a hotel. And now I just got to try to build my life, but this water came up so high. It was only 1 foot from my 6-foot privacy fence, because I have the marks to prove it. And it was, you know, and it was so powerful that in my garage, my refrigerator and freezer were on their side, and everything that was on this side of my garage was over on this side of the garage. I mean, it took a lot of people, and I'm just saying, you know, the city was good, and then we had volunteers from Roto-Rooter, because I had mostly older people helping me, and Roto-Rooter came by, and they took out a lot of heavy stuff. If it wasn't for all those people, my house, I'd just be sitting there, just probably in a loony bin, because I wake up crying at night because I lost everything. Everything that my wife and I worked for. But I thank the city for they came around today, and, you know, and now we just need some street cleaners down there or something because we have so much mud. I've ruined 2 pairs of shoes now. But I just want to let you know, it stinks so bad in my house. I don't care if it rains now because what's it going to do inside my house? I left all my windows open, and we just need help down there because a lot of people lost their homes and have nowhere to go. Thank you.
What is your name again? I'm sorry.
Deanna Mercier.
Deanna. Okay. Thank you for your words.
I am Trang Mai. I live in 1510 River Drive South, Sioux City, Iowa 51109. I am an Asian people. I don't know a lot the English, but around Riverside we have about 4 or 5 house for Asian Vietnamese. Now we don't know what happened. It will come with we are. My son, when we see the water coming, my son, he about 9 years old, he said, "Daddy, what happened?" I said, "Daddy, I don't know. Daddy not know it." But right now, we don't know how to define it. But look like the bird don't have the net. We lose anything. Right now, I don't have the place to live. Nothing. That I say, I don't know how to define about it. Please help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roxana Mateo, 1911 Fairbanks Street. We lost everything. I almost lost my life because I was sleeping in the basement. And if it wasn't for a phone call and a text, I wouldn't be here today. I work at Knife River, so I usually get up very early in the morning. And if it wasn't because I work there and I have to get up very early, I wouldn't be here today. We need help. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Chris Meyer. I live at 1600 River Drive South, Sioux City, Iowa 51109. Our house was affected by the flood. For the last 2 floods, it didn't even affect. We lived right next to the dike. I mean, right next to it. It's like I can walk right over there and go fishing and stuff, And the last 2 floods, the 2011 one, all we got was water in the backyard, and they were able to pump it out. But I know it went higher this year than it did the last time. But why is this happening? Well, what is it? Something that South Dakota's doing, controlling the water? Because I know they're the ones that make the water come down, right? Pretty much. Is there something we can do about that? So they're releasing water, a certain amount of water all the time, so we don't have to deal with this all the time? It gets really frustrating, And yeah, we lost pretty much the whole house. I mean, the floors, it's all got to be torn out, redone. We didn't have a basement. Tran and his family, they had a basement, so they lost everything in the basement. I think the house itself's going to be okay, but I'm not sure about our house. Our house might be total, who knows. But yeah, it's pretty frustrating. I lost my Harley. It's total. Everything in the garage, bye-bye, gone. Refrigerators, freezers, washers, dryers, all that stuff, bedding, pitchers. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, why does this always happen to us from the Big Sioux? It always seems like it's the Big Sioux. I mean, Why were we not more prepared? I know this hit us real fast and stuff, and we really didn't have a lot of time to act about it, but why were they not releasing more water than they were supposed to?
It wasn't a release, it was.
Can you speak up, sir? I have a hard time hearing.
I said, there's no way to release, it's just the way the river runs. Unfortunately, they had like 14 inches of rain in 2 days upstream, that's
Okay.
So if there were a dam, it would maybe be better. Unfortunately, there's no dam on the Big Sioux, so.
Right, I mean, but don't the dam in South Dakota control the water that comes down to the Big
Well, to
Sioux?
the Missouri, but not where you guys got
Okay,
flooded.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately.
My bad, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's just really frustrating. Maybe we need to put in like another project like Perry Creek or something to help divert the water or something. I don't know. I mean, but I think we ought to really look into this and say, hey, what can we do to prevent this from happening again? But there's a lot more people than that were in this room that are affected by this flood.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are not here, but everybody's pitching in, helping everybody. Salvation Army's there, Red Cross, they're all making sure everybody's got food, water and stuff. I seen Sioux City people there today picking up garbage and stuff like that and getting rid of this debris and all that stuff, but yeah.
I met you this morning.
I appreciate everything that everybody's doing for everybody. Everybody's working together as a good team and helping everybody out, but yeah, we need to really look into this and see what can we do to prevent this from happening. FEMA, they're not even saying that we're not even on the declaration yet. I'm like, really? Our house is probably gonna be told while I'm bedding. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mary has something to say.
They were working up there with culverts and stuff at the end of the deal. Why wasn't that berm put in there before, when the water started coming instead of afterwards?
I don't quite understand your question, I guess.
They built up the berm. They
Yeah.
brought in dirt after the flood. Why wasn't that done before the flood?
No.
No, you mean on those barriers? That was built Saturday before the water came over.
No, it was not, because that ended out just like this here, and now they got quite a wires and they got it filled with dirt. But then before that, they were working, it was all like slanted down, and now they could have had, they were doing something with culverts or something, there was culverts laying there.
I don't know. I guess I don't know what you're talking about, I'm sorry.
But now there's a berm up there.
They did build that berm on Saturday
Yes.
before the water came.
No, they didn't. I was over there, and there was culverts and stuff in there before that. And now there's a berm up there.
Maybe we're talking about a different.
Yeah, we must, because I know it was built
No,
Saturday.
we might be talking about a different space because our city crews were up there before the water came.
Well, I'd like to see the picture of it on the day that it wasn't there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chris Meyer, 1600 River Drive South, Sioux City, Iowa, 51109. I think what she's trying to talk about, the first time that they did it, they just put dirt there first. What they got now, they got like a wall with like sand in it or something.
They built that Saturday. I was there. I took the guy's Gatorade that day.
Oh, okay. So it was there when the flood hit.
Yeah.
It was there. It held, it went behind it. It went up more upstream. But they built that Saturday. I was there on that dike Saturday, and I hauled Gatorade to those guys as they built it, so,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
But maybe that's what we need to do is build that dike up higher on that end because it gets lower as you go around from like River Drive South on to River Drive.
Be longer too.
Where we're at, it's high. I've never seen the river crest the dike yet, but hey, you never know.
Well, it went 7
But
feet
yeah,
higher
I mean,
than what
it
they.
just lower down that area there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else?
One more question I have, and I tried to kind of address that with Mary. I think she's a little confused about how she worded that. She would just like to know why, the same question I ask is, why that levee was never completed. It's just a short stretch there, before the flooding ever occurred. Is there a reason why that never got completed? That's the answers a lot of people are, you know, they would like answers on that, you know. And I don't know if any of you can give that answer or not, but it's a question they're all asking, so, okay.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, we'll take a few more. Names and addresses, please.
Thái Trân. Address 1901 Fairbank.
Thank you.
He don't know English, so I help him. He just buy a house, and he don't know why the flooding. Yeah. And he lose everything. He lose like, and he don't know English and stuff. He don't know like how to tell people to help.
We're going to check and see, Bob, do we have an interpreter that can help with Southeast Asian? We need to make sure they're available.
We just talked about that this afternoon when we were together, that we need to get a few different languages, some representatives down on the street to be able to communicate with you guys. I think that'll help clear up some confusion.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank all of you for listening to us.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we can address these concerns at the community
Absolutely.
and at the city and get this taken care of so it does not happen again like this. That's my concern.
Thank you. We have another.
My name is Tai, so I speak English not so well, but
What's your
I live in
address?
1900 Cavalry Way. So I just moved in there about 3 years. So I don't know how to say. You know, at the night, I stay in there all night. I don't think the water is terrible like that. About at 2 o'clock, I tell my mom and my kid, I have 2 kids, and my mom had a kidney, so I moved them to another place. So I stay there into the morning. But I remember about 10 years ago, the water coming up the river is not same like that time. So I think, sorry, I don't know how.
You don't know how it came, why there was so much water?
Yes, right.
They had about 7 feet more water than they predicted was coming down, because they had 14 to 16 inches of rain north. And then when the water came down, it was more than what the Army Corps of Engineer, what everybody forecasted. It was 7 feet higher than expected. So we didn't know that we were going to get 7 extra feet higher than what they were predicting. So that's why it went over, because it was a record flood.
Just very fast. Because I remember
It happened
I take my
fast,
daughter
right.
from home.
Yep.
At about 10 o'clock, 10:30. It's nothing.
Right.
So now, I have nothing.
Right, I'm sorry.
My house, everything is gone. So now I don't know how to do.
Right.
I just work at Tyson. I don't know how to do. I take care of my mom, my kid. Just still pay for the mortgage. Just still pay for the rent.
Your mom and your kids are living somewhere else now?
Yes.
Okay.
So I rent the apartment. So for my mom, my kid.
I'm glad they're safe.
They live in over there.
Okay.
So I don't know how to say. I just say that I left. So everybody know that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there aren't any more comments, may I say a few things?
Anybody else? One more? Okay, go ahead.
else.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all of you that spoke to the mayor and city council today, let me back up a minute. This is truly a situation where words are not enough. Susan, you did a great job of presenting, as did the other ones. But it was, you've sustained great losses, no question about that. And we want to do whatever we need to do to help the situation. We do care. Floods are horrendous. And I can't think of anything, well, there's more, but what we're dealing with today, the floods, truly challenges the human spirit. It really does. And all of you, it took courage to come and speak to us and speak your truth. I appreciated that. It helps, excuse me, it helps this council member a lot as to what can those next steps be. So, for example, you mentioned FEMA, and I think the mayor mentioned we're back on track for the FEMA applications. And so, but we have to make sure everyone gets the FEMA applications completed. We're aware of that. The comment about the spraying the bugs, excellent comment, excellent suggestion. I had a couple of calls on the quality of the water, and I don't believe, I want to be sure I'm absolutely correct on this, but it was not impacted. The quality of water is still good. There have been other things about, so for example, the assessed values. This is just from what I know, and there may be programs available when it comes to the property values, but just keep in mind, assessed values are set on January 1 of every year. And we have to live by that law, live by that rule. It's a harsh one, especially when you have had sustained these great losses. I mean, I can't imagine, I just can't imagine losing everything, especially the things that can't be replaced. I mean, photos come to my mind. They can't be replaced. They photos capture a great memory in the past. And you were all great citizens and residents of Sioux City, Iowa. And I'm proud to be serving on the council. Yes, we have our challenges, but if we don't hear from you, as we did today, we're not going to make progress. And so, again, I want to thank you. You thanked us, but I want to thank you because you have been through so much where you oftentimes wonder, how can we do that? How can we get through this? And what I saw yesterday when I went out there was the pulling together of the community. Sioux City, Iowa has always come, they rise to the top to help each other. You talk, Susan, about your heroes. And I bet you a lot of you have heroes in this picture and what's happening. And embrace that and love each other. That's how we're going to get through this. And we can do better. We will do better. But we've made a lot of progress. And walking out there yesterday was just, honestly, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. And someone had told me, I talked to one of the citizens there, one of the residents, and they said there was a dresser that was in the pile in Goldie Park. And it was a pretty nice dresser. And they didn't understand why that was being tossed, but they were aware of photos in the top drawer of the dresser. So I went back, because I went and visited some houses to see what it was like, and it was an eye-opener. It was an eye-opener. But I went back to see if that dresser was there, to see what those pictures were, and it was gone. because I know you've had to go through that process where people will come and take things and help themselves, and it's not a good situation, but we'll make it better. And I truly am sorry for your losses. They're so great, and they're losses that cannot be replaced. And for that, I'm sorry. But we will come and rise to the top, rise to the occasion, and help each other. So I just want to thank you again for being so honest and having the courage to come before the City Council and the Mayor today. So thank you.
Yeah.
Not only are we smelling the flood, now we're starting to smell dead
And maggots
fish.
are starting to.
Yeah.
Oh, we can do that. Yeah.
We'll get some people out there. Let me just say, add that this is my second major flood. I was in office for 5 months as mayor, and Perry Creek went out and got 330 people on the west side. The emotional toll for people in floods is much worse than a fire. At least a fire, it's gone and it's over with. With a flood, you get to deal with it twice. Once the anxiety of the flood coming up, and then the anxiety of throwing things away that mean a lot to your family. So it's not something that I enjoy as mayor. I told these guys, until you experience one of these, you just don't understand the turmoil in people's lives because of it. I think we learned some things. I'm not going to get into details of what happened the night before and all that. Let's just say that I've told Bob that after this quiets down with his staff in a couple weeks, we need to have a real sit down and talk about what we did. I think we were in denial that river was going to go as high as it did. Unfortunately, it just kept rising and rising, and every forecaster said it was already at peaked at 4:30 that afternoon, and it hadn't. I mean, that's the reality. And I'm not saying that they were wrong for being in denial, but I think feet on the ground, I spent all that day out there and all night that night pretty much, and you knew it wasn't going to go down. I don't know what the National Weather Forecast even came up with. That thing was only going to go 38 feet. It's just nuts to think that. But anyway, we're going to have people in your neighborhood tomorrow seeing what we can do. We'll try to figure out interpreters, because there's obviously a segment of that population that's going to need help. And we'll be back out there. Our building inspectors are working that neighborhood. Our fire department's been out there. And we'll try to get a little cleanup, and we'll see about some of the things that you've recommended. Thank you for bringing some of those after the fact, things that we can do to minimize what you're going through. So, and thank you for coming today. We appreciate your comments. So, thank you. Good.
To make sure there is no looting and no problems out there. So I do want to thank them for that.
Yeah, Officer Wagner helped me too, so kudos to him.
All righty. All right, thank you, guys. Mr. O'Kane.
I have a huge long, try and keep it as close to 3 minutes as possible. Yeah, all this and a little on the back. So I was out there at the volunteer coordination center unloading donations, and I started making a list at one point of all the organizations that have donated, and the list got too long. I texted Julie about the Jeep Club bringing a huge donation. They rolled in with all their Jeeps and trucks, and they had truckloads of stuff to donate. But there was too many organizations to name, so I can't go through a list, but truly thank you to all the organizations and local businesses that have donated time, talents, and treasure to the cleanup effort in Riverside. Tonight, I know I saw that Boss Hog and Taco and Madre are serving meals. They're taking the food trucks around and serving meals for free, so it's always good to see local partners like that step up too. I want to give a special thank you to city staff and to fellow council members for everything. we all have different talents, and I know Julie was out there with the food, of course, that's Julie's talent.
Breakfast burrito.
I myself, I have the back of an 85-year-old man, but the determination of a 5-year-old, so I unloaded donations, and I know that we're all contributing in our own way, but I know that there's more that we can do, and we're gonna continue to try and do more and help out as best as we can. And getting feedback from community members and other stakeholders is very important to us because we don't know what the need is until someone tells us what that need is. There is a huge need for volunteers, obviously out in Riverside. I observed a couple of teenagers that were earning hours for their silver cord, we've talked to Mayor's Youth Commission members, we've talked to student council members. So if you have anybody or any organization that benefits from volunteer hours that you'd like to point out to the Volunteer Coordination Center, they will sign forms for volunteer hours out there. So that's a good way to get some hours in. If you're in the water or around the debris, please wear protective equipment. I've seen this said. My niece, who is actually in some flood water as well, was bitten by some bug, and she ended up at the hospital, and they had to put her on a round of steroids and some antibiotics. And the hospital said that they have seen a huge influx of people with infections and weird bug bites from the water. And so they're just cautioning people to wear protective equipment if you're in the water for an extended period of time or around things that have been in the flood water. Make sure that you keep yourself safe. Like I said, if you have any specific needs, make sure that you let one of the organizations know that is involved with the cleanup effort. We've had a lot of questions about where to donate clothes. Mission of the Messiah is taking clothes. They are out by Harbor Freight? No, not Harbor Freight. What's the furniture? Unclaimed freight furniture. There we go. And they are accepting clothes donations specifically for victims of the flood. Junior League and Community Action Agency of Siouxland are taking cleanup supplies, personal hygiene products, and coordinating volunteer efforts all in one fell swoop out at Riverside Lutheran, sorry. And then last up is this is Independence Day, the week that we are celebrating Independence Day. Independence Day is all about coming together as Americans, right? And hopefully if you know somebody that's been impacted by the flood, invite their family to your festivities, feed them, give them a good night and some good time away from all of the hecticness that they're experiencing. A lot of us have been out there cleaning up in the Riverside area, and sometimes it's nice to just be able to step away. If not, find a way to volunteer some of your talents or your time. They're looking for people that can hang drywall. I can hold a piece of drywall up. So any talents that you have that you think would be beneficial, definitely reach out to the Volunteer Center and see how you can help. Everybody's at a different stage in the cleanup process, so we might not need people to hang drywall right now, but they can take your information, and when the time comes, they'll reach out to you. That is everything.
I spent some time out in the neighborhood this morning, a few hours. There were lots of people out there helping tirelessly. It's not all being done with just machines. We've got staff and volunteers out there pushing the sludgy mess into the buckets of the loader. I want everybody to be really careful. If you haven't had a tetanus shot in years, now is a good time to get it. If you're a volunteer, if you live out there, a tetanus booster is very helpful. I would like to give a shout out to Riverside Lutheran Church. I also was there visiting their volunteer group. They are prepared to feed 150 plus for evening meals, and that's going to start right away. So tomorrow they're going to have a 4th of July dinner on the 4th. They're going to have the big grills out. They would love everyone to come and stay and eat and lean on one another for support. Something else that's really important is to be counted for your damages, so that FEMA gets you on their number so that we get the financial support that our area needs. So do not fear when someone asks you or you have to fill out the paperwork to get some assistance. We need to make sure that everyone who's been affected is counted. And it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. So please, please be counted, fill out the paperwork. If you're not sure what to do, ask a neighbor, they may know, but we're gonna try to get the information out to you. We'll have it online. We'll have people in the neighborhood to explain. I think that's all I have. Just everybody hang together. We're here for you, and we will put our heads together after our meetings and get some better plans together for the continuum moving forward.
Dan? He did, okay. Just a reminder to everyone that this Wednesday, July 3rd, 1 o'clock p.m. until 11 o'clock p.m., it's legal to discharge fireworks. And on the 4th of July, Thursday, 1 o'clock p.m. to 11 o'clock. Overall, I think it's been better so far. I hope I don't cause any problems in the next couple of days, yeah. So I just want to encourage everyone to please wait till Wednesday and be prepared for Wednesday starting at 1 o'clock p.m. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
It has started early, but I'll let it go. I move we adjourn.
Second.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.